Whether you're a Swiftie or not, when I saw Taylor make $1 billion on tour and have both sides of politics fighting over her, I had to investigate her marketing strategy. So have you ever noticed how Taylor Swift turns every song release into a game of hide and seek? She plants these little clues everywhere, and her fans love searching for them. It's like she's playing a secret game with millions. And guess what? She becomes the hottest trend on social media. This genius move makes her new song a huge hit online, providing her with free marketing. But this strategy is just the beginning of her nefarious marketing plan. Speaking of surprises, remember when Taylor uploaded a 7-second static sound that surprisingly hit #1 on the charts? This isn't just a funny slip-up. It shows how smart Taylor Swift is at marketing. So get ready to find out eye-opening marketing secrets that even the most dedicated Swifties might have missed. There's more to learn here than you might expect. Taylor Swift's rise to fame didn't happen overnight. Back when she started her career, she had no connections. But what she did have was time. Time is the way that these people climb to success. They use it as a resource. This is exactly why Taylor Swift had a dangerous advantage. She understood the power of longevity and the compound effect. You see, Taylor Swift released her first single, Tim McGraw, when she was only 16 years old. Actually, remember, I saw her live at the Chili Cook-Off concert in Florida. She was probably 16 or 17 at the time. And since then, she has been honing her craft and building her personal brand for 17 years now. It's crazy, right? A lot of times we're measuring a 2-year career against Taylor's 20-year career. And that's an unfair comparison because everything compounds with time. In fact, she gained more popularity in the last 12 months than she probably did in the first 16 years combined. And that's the power of consistency. It makes you better and better while continuously adding to your body of work. Now, if you post videos once a week for 10 years straight, that's 520 pieces of content versus just 52 for somebody who only did it for 1 year. So the takeaway is that you have to embrace Taylor's mindset of longevity. Don't compare your first year to somebody's 10th year. The longer you work at something, the better you're going to get at it. Now, if you're just starting out and you're trying to compete with companies who have been doing the same thing as you for 10, 15, 20 years, it can be difficult to convince prospects to hire you over the 10-year veterans. And this is exactly why you need to differentiate yourself if you're going to compete against more veteran competitors. With my company, Otter PR, we offer month-to-month services, transparent pricing, guaranteed top-tier coverage, because we know the veteran competitors are not offering those things. Find out what makes your company unique and double down on that messaging. Speaking of differentiating yourself, let's take a closer look at Taylor Swift's journey. What truly set Taylor apart is how her music has grown with her audience. This is a concept in marketing known as parallel evolution. Just think about how Eminem's music resonated with his listeners because it reflected their personal challenges and their realities. Well, Taylor has become an expert at connecting her music with the emotional phases in her fans' lives, making her music feel like the background to their own stories. An average American's high school years are filled with big dreams, romances, and roadblocks, and Taylor's early hits like Taylor Swift and Fearless deeply connected with listeners by capturing these experiences with songs about young love and the pains of growing up. Then, as her fans navigated through their college years, marked by heartbreaks and new friendships, Taylor's music transitioned too. With albums like Speak Now and Red, it captured these complex emotions, mirroring the fans' journeys into adulthood. And as her audiences moved into her mid-20s, facing challenges with identity and complicated relationships, Taylor's music also matured. Listen to her songs Blank Space and Bad Blood. It talked about these themes, showing that Taylor's music was growing alongside her audience, just as Taylor was growing. So as an entrepreneur, as a creator, you might be watching this channel now learning about cold email or lead generation. But 5 years from now, you might be on this same channel, but you don't want to learn about lead gen anymore. You might want to learn about operations and leadership structure and leadership qualities. So I have to evolve my content to grow with you. Here's where things get even cooler. Taylor didn't just change her music, she totally revamped her brand. She started as a country singer and then evolved into a pop sensation. She's been the girl next door dealing with heartbreak, and now she's all about showing her strength and owning her story. With every album drop from Fearless to 1989 and on to Reputation and Lover, it's like Taylor's showing us a new side of herself. She's evolving. It's like she's walking the audience through the chapters of her life, proving that it's okay to to change and to grow. Now, her Eras tour clearly wasn't just a concert. It was like a celebration of all of Taylor's different versions that people have seen and loved over the years. That's what made it such a huge success. But here's the real deal, and it's something that all creators, including me, can admire. Taylor has mastered authenticity. She ignores the critics, and she's chosen to remain true to herself, and the fans can tell. I talked to 100 different YouTube creators asking for advice, and one of the common themes is remain authentic. Just be authentic and it will work. And it is the truest advice ever, but it's also not as easy as some creators make it out to be. You can even be authentic and not come off authentic, and Taylor absolutely crushes that. Now, if Taylor's Identities were a Netflix series, we'd have more seasons than we could binge watch in a weekend. But here's the plot twist that glues it all together and glues you to her screen. She connects with her fans by being open about her flaws and struggles. Even though she's famous, her songs feel like they could be about anyone. She openly shares her pitfalls, her shortcomings, her heartbreaks with the public instead of hiding from them. This turns what could be seen as weakness into her strength. If you've seen 8 Mile, think about that final battle where Eminem just came out and said all of the things that his enemy was going to say about him. This is what Taylor does. Then if someone tries to attack her for these things, for these weaknesses, they're also attacking her fans who have gone through the exact same things. And she has built an army of people that are going to defend her because they resonate with the experiences that she shares. Now, this journey of growth and adaptation and exposing your weaknesses is a blueprint for entrepreneurs. Taylor changed her music to match what her fans were going through and adapted over time. This is how she's remained relevant for so many years. For business owners, this means always paying attention to what your customers need and changing your products or services to keep up and adapt with your clientele. Just like Taylor, businesses can also create a loyal customer base by mirroring their journey and fulfilling their needs. And here's where it gets even more interesting. Sure, Taylor is known for writing a song about every guy she dates, but that's just scratching the surface. Why do people say that she's the greatest artist of our generation? Well, let's break it down. Taylor's empire didn't stop at creating music. She's transformed into an icon for women everywhere by standing up to the biggest players in the game. Every time she went against these giants, she became a rebel and an icon. And this all started at the MTV Music Awards in 2009 with the infamous Kanye West controversy. This is when Taylor was only 19 years old and the industry was dominated by the big names like Beyonce and Kanye and Eminem. And then something unexpected happened. Taylor won the award for Best Female Music Video. This was a dream come true. But just as Taylor was about to give her acceptance speech, Kanye jumped on stage and said this.
Yo, Taylor, I'm really happy for you. I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce had one of the best videos of all time.
This left Taylor and the whole world in shock and disbelief. Kanye humiliated her in front of the biggest names in the industry. But here's when the tables turned. Taylor channeled all of her pain into her music and created the album Reputation. Within 6 minutes, the album hit #1 on iTunes. Yes, you heard that right. Not 6 days, not 6 hours, 6 minutes. The album sold 400,000 units in pre-orders and then 700,000 units after it was released. Taylor flipping the script on that infamous award night is a playbook on genius marketing. It's all about taking the moment where you hit a low point and turning it into a comeback story and into absolute gold. She turned the narrative and she made Reputation not just an album, but a statement that she is not someone to be messed with. But that's not even the most interesting part. Did you know that most of your favorite artists don't even own their own work? You remember how Taylor signed a 13-year contract with a label company after moving to Nashville? Well, this label was called Big Machine Label Group, and it was later sold to a man named Scooter Braun. Now, how record labels usually work is the artist records a song, which is called the master recording. This master recording is owned by the label company. With the master recording, they then create other versions. And when an artist signs a deal with a label company, they get paid royalties on a regular basis, all while the company handles the production costs for the song. Well, it seems like a win-win, right? Well, that wasn't the case for Taylor. When the Big Machine label company was sold, they also ended up selling Taylor's albums from 2008 to 2017. Including Reputation. And even though Taylor wanted to pay for the master copy, nobody listened to her. This is when she decided it was enough and time to take action. She did something wild. She decided to re-record all 6 of her albums and then release them against her own label-owned albums. All of these new songs were known as Taylor's version. And guess what happened next? When Fearless re-came out in 2021, it made 3 times more compared to what it originally made. When Taylor re-released her second album, Red, she sold 3.32 million units compared to the original release, which sold only 390,000 units. Now there are 3 more albums to be re-released where Taylor will reclaim her rights over the work from the big label companies. And this brings us to our next lesson, which is ownership. Taylor is a shrewd businesswoman and she knows how to make the best out of every challenge that life throws at her. Her last Eros tour grossed over $1 billion. That is totally insane. She independently released all of these songs, and they ended up making way more than anything she had made working with the record labels. And this is simply because she has a much bigger audience now, which she has built over a long period of time. Compounding. She used this as leverage to close deals that other people would never be able to. So how can you leverage this in your business? Let's take a look at Alex Hormozi as an example. His recent book, $100 Million Leads, Got It Behind Me, it's a massive hit, but he's literally giving away the chapters for free left and right. You can listen to the audiobook on his podcast, you can get the digital version online for $1. But do you think he would have been able to do that if a publishing company owned the rights? Well, the answer is of course not. So while it might be attractive in the short term to take the money, it could hurt you in the long term. So if you have the stomach to be patient, it's always better to retain ownership of your work. That way you decide what you want to do with it. And times change a lot, and a decision that might look fruitful today might not be the best decision for you 10 years down the line. And Hormozi knows this. All right, so what's the takeaway? Own your stuff. The real power is keeping control. Your future self is going to thank you big time. It's all about playing the long game, making moves today that set you up for even bigger wins tomorrow. Taylor Swift's story shows that. Just like many entrepreneurs, you don't need a massive budget to start making huge waves. And that's exactly how I started a $10 million agency with 0 funding. So click on this video to see exactly how, and then apply these strategies to grow your own agency and your own business as well. If you like this video, make sure to hit subscribe for game-changing insights about business, lead gen, and marketing. And thanks for joining me today. As always, keep striving for success and see you next time.